Real estate prices are dropping fast across my real estate market of Surrey, BC, and sentiment is very much the same across the entire country. In fact, one market that I'm going to cover today has dropped over 18% in only a single month. And buyers aren't stupid, so as a result of lower prices, the number of sales increased by 67% across the city, as buyers begin to jump in on what they view to be deals at lower prices with lower costs of financing. And because the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board just released their current stats package, that makes this the Surrey Report. And this month, we're going to do a deep dive into the major areas of Surrey real estate and each of the asset classes to help discover what you should expect out there in the marketplace. Starting off with what might be the scariest stat of them all, that only 21.8% of you watching right now are even subscribed. So please subscribe to the channel and let's get into the numbers. This is the entire Fraser Valley marketplace, just so you can see what's gone on over the last 30 days compared to the same time last month and last year. You're seeing that sales are skyrocketing compared to where they were. So we're seeing 37% more this month compared to last year, and to last month about 35%. So we're starting to see sales really take off across the market, because let's face it, September a year ago and September last month was just not really that great. Overall average price is up 2.3% across the entire Fraser Valley, and then down just since last month, almost 1%. Listings year over year are way up, but coming down since last month. And the same is happening with the active inventory on the marketplace. But again, this is the entire marketplace, all the way from North Delta all the way out to Mission, so may not reflect directly upon Surrey. We're going to get into that here shortly. Now let's look at the year-to-date numbers. Now these are really telling of exactly what the marketplace is doing. Again, this is the entire marketplace. Sales year-to-date are down about 4%, and new listings are up 20. So we have less sales happening and more inventory. The total sales year to date are at just almost 12,500. These are not gangbuster numbers, by the way. These could be much higher than they are. They could be around 18 or 20,000 sales, and we would be in a bustling market. But at this point in time, sitting around under 13,000 this same time last year shows that we've had a fairly slow market now for the entire last year. And obviously that shows in listings starting to stack up. There's been a total of 32,000 new listings this year, only 26,000 last year. But you're here for Surrey stats. So let's hop into Surrey combined. This is the actual city of Surrey, excluding White Rock. You'll see that sales have jumped dramatically, 67% increase in detached sales. But the overall average sale price just last month dropped 7%. So look at that. We're almost 1.8 in September, and we're now just a hair over 165. So it's a massive drop, almost $150,000 drop in a single month. But that's average price. Average price can be skewed very quickly one way or another. You'll see that the benchmark price that takes out all the crazy fluctuations of average prices spiking up or down is relatively unchanged at less than 1% of difference. But that is the detached market. Let's move over here into the townhouse market. There again, we're seeing an increase, 39% increase in sales. And look at this. Year over year, a 75% increase in sales. So this time last year, there was only 114 sales in Surrey townhouses at all. And this year we are up to a much healthier 200. But even though the average prices dropped month over month, benchmark price is saying, hey, we're pretty much sticking flat for the moment, even though we are down slightly since the same time last year. Moving on to condos. Again, we're seeing that same surge in sales. The market seems to be coming back. It's not gangbusters by any means, but we're seeing a 48% increase in apartment sales for the month and a 50% increase since last year. But the prices seem to be coming down. So average price is up quite a bit year over year, believe it or not, but benchmark price and average price appear to both be coming down. So that actually leads me to believe that the condo market is likely the weakest sector in the market right now. Now, Surrey is broken up into 4 major areas for the purpose of the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board. So let's start in the north, or the bad part of town, if you want to call it. I'm from the wrong side of the track, so don't blame me for calling it that. North Surrey detached sales. Look at this. There was only 22 sales in September. to this last month's 51. So sales are up 131%, absolutely skyrocketing number of sales. Now, it's not a lot of sales, mind you. It's a big area. That number should actually probably be higher, but it shows you how low and how slow of a market September really was. Average price is actually up month over month. The median price, which now gets brought into these next levels that we're going to be looking at, is down. And then we also have benchmark price down as well. No big swings, except for look at this year over year average price in Surrey detached is down 10%. So when I look at these numbers, I see like a lot of these 1.4s, 1.4s, 1.4s. So it makes you wonder if maybe at 1.6 being the average price in October a year ago, maybe there was a couple of high sales in that reporting period. And that may be showing that this is a lower market that might not actually be the case. Moving into townhouses in North Surrey, again, you're seeing a lot of listings coming to the marketplace. So you've got new active listings increasing quite a bit. You're seeing an increase in sales. And again, townhouses, not a lot of them in North Surrey in the first place, but when you go from 10 to 18 sales, it skews that number really, really quickly. Median price, average price down. And month over month, the benchmark price is actually increasing. These numbers are wild. These numbers are all over the place. So it's really important that when you're trying to do the analysis, you speak to an expert, because you could see if you talk to the wrong person, you might think prices are down 12% and somebody else might say they are up 6%, depending on how they want to present you the numbers. So you really have to drill down into your analysis. Condos, though, has been a hurting sector in North Surrey now for some time. So we are up 42% in sales since last month. So finally, the market's coming back a little bit. There's something like 300 or 400 active condos in the Wally area right now alone. So stack that onto the rest of North Surrey, and we end up with 735 active listings and only 110 sales. That puts us at 7 months of supply in condos. I mean, really, that's not so bad, because at one point I was doing analysis in Wally condos and there was like 23 months of supply in certain spots. So finally, some of those products are selling, excuse me. And yes, indeed, prices have come down. Benchmark price is showing the actual downturn and down year over year as well. I think this is a bit of an anomaly here with a 2.7% increase in average pricing and in median pricing. Doesn't really reflect what the market's doing. We are seeing prices in that area drop. Now, before we go any further, I want to say that this is very confusing for you watching if you're trying to pinpoint your price on your particular property. And I want you to know that these numbers don't reflect your listing. These numbers reflect the general market. This is all the way, for instance, from 1-bedroom small 450 square foot apartments up to 1,200 square foot 3-bedroom apartments. So the numbers can really vary. And if you want to know a little bit more about your purchase or your sale, and you think that you need some more help, I want you to know that you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below if you think we might be the right fit to walk you through your purchase or sale. Now, the term Surrey Central is kind of misleading because they don't mean Surrey Central, the station. They mean Surrey Central, the middle of Surrey. So it kind of includes Newton and a few other areas. Again, you're going to see this same trend come along. Prices are very, very sticky. They're kind of sticking in and around a little bit of an up or a little bit of a down within usually about a percent benchmark price month over month. Slight decrease year over year, as a matter of fact. And then you've got a couple of positives and negatives. So it's really, again, really, really hard. What I like to do, though, is not spend so much time looking at these numbers, this plus almost 6% or down 2.5%. But just take a peek, like 1.5 and a bit, 1.5 and a bit, 1.4 and a bit. It's not that far off of here. 1.5 and a bit, 1.5 and a bit, and almost 1.6. So you're not seeing these crazy fluctuations. Moving into townhouses across the same area. Again, another whopping 88% increase in number of sales. But then again, look at the active and new listings coming to the market. It's kind of crazy. But let's just narrow that down, that focus down again. You're seeing the townhouse, the average townhouse kind of prices kicking in and around that 800, 800, 800. So even though these prices are saying negative 2% or 2.5 or plus 2%, really all these prices are between 8 and 829. And if you think about a 3-bedroom listing, that's probably about the right number. So are you 800? Possibly. Are you 829? Is that a lot of money? Yes. But the overall market isn't really swaying that much. Moving down now into condos, same trend, 81% increase in the number of sales, but that's only going, there's not many condos in the middle part of Surrey. It's only going from 16 sales up to 29. And again, let's use that kind of rule of thumb. We've got prices happening anywhere here from about 530 up to about 575. So there is maybe a 10% swing in pricing, possibly within your listing. But at the same time, we're not talking about these massive increases or decreases necessarily in pricing. Moving into Cloverdale, which is more the east side of Surrey, again, a massive increase in the number of sales going from 24 sold homes up to now 42. Doesn't sound like that big of a number, but look at the active listings finally starting to come off of the market. New listings were decreased by almost 15%, and active overall listings by almost 12%. Now, I don't view this as being correct at all. It doesn't really feel like the average price in Cloverdale shot up 14% this year. I tell you, I live in the area. I don't think my house has increased a dollar, let alone 14%. But you're seeing that kind of big jump. So this leads me to believe that average price is really spiky because you're going from 1.4 all the way up to 1,645. Probably had some high-end sales in the month because again, you're looking down here between just do the rule of thumb here. 1.5, 1.5, 1.52, just under 1.5, just under 1.5. It does appear that the detached home market is increasing, but I don't view it as being this 14% at all. Let's move along to townhomes in Cloverdale. 25% increase, so much more subdued, but they weren't really hurting in the first place. There is more listings coming on the market as well, and prices appear to be increasing across Cloverdale townhouses from last month and from last year. So townhouses are an interesting aspect right now, particularly in Cloverdale, which is more of a family-friendly area. There's a lot of future focus looking towards things like the SkyTrain line that's going to be coming down that way. So a lot of people are ending up in Cloverdale. Seems to be one of our hotter markets. And Cloverdale, particularly Cloverdale townhouses, seem to trend with the market at a crazy pace. So when the market's hot, they seem to go up really, really well. And then when the market cools, they seem to have a really, really cold cooling effect super, super quickly. But look at the big swings here. This is absolutely crazy. Year over year, condos in Cloverdale appear to be way, way up in both median pricing and average pricing, and then down month over month in average pricing. Not that many sales are happening, and there's actually no sales difference year over year, which is kind of nuts because we've seen so many more sales happening in every other marketplace. But there's something fishy going on here. Like October a year ago, they were selling under 500,000, then last month over 600,000, and then this month about five and a half or halfway in the middle. It seems to be a very, very volatile market, but that's what happens when you don't have many sales happening within that area. And we're at about 6 months supply when you look at the listings to actives ratio. So it's a pretty volatile one out there right now for condos in Cloverdale. Now here's the crazy one I was telling you about. South Surrey, White Rock. We've seen, now this does include White Rock. Unfortunately, you can't scale it out just for this portion. So it does include the city of White Rock as well, which is a very small area. But we have a 58% increase in the number of sales. New listings are down 30% overall. So we're seeing a tightening up of the market down there. But look at this average price. Average price tanked 18.2% in South Surrey White Rock in the month over month trend. But that goes to show me that in September 2024, we had a 2.3, almost 2.4 million. And then in October, we were under 2 million. That just leads me to believe that there was one, two, or three really, really high-end properties that likely sold, and that this is a much more realistic number for the marketplace. Again, we're going to look at the benchmark pricing, which has not swayed nearly that much, but it is trending downwards. Moving on to townhouses in the same area, you're going to see very much the same kind of trend. We're seeing a downward price trajectory in South Surrey townhouses, which I've been saying forever. I had a listing down there, one of my first expiry listings or termination listings, I guess you call it, in ages. South Surrey townhouses tends to be a bit of a tough spot right now, even though we're starting to see some growth in sales as well. And then moving into the condos in South Surrey, massive growth again in the number of overall sales. Average price dropping, but again, the benchmark price is staying very much the same month over month, and it even has slight growth year over year. So at this point in time, it appears like sales are picking up, but only because prices are coming down. And if you as a homeowner are holding out for the spring market and the return of the market, particularly in prices, be careful, and you might want to watch this video about why the BOC's future rate cuts won't save the Canadian real estate market.